All right, well, Aaliyah Boston, thank you so much for making the long trek to WTHR here, downtown Indianapolis, going into year 3 for you here in the WNBA. Is that crazy?
It's kind of crazy to think how fast time is going. I was actually just saying that, like, I can't believe this is my 3rd year.
In a recent interview, Aaliyah Boston had high praise for new head coach Stephanie White, especially highlighting her clear communication and smart game time decisions. Interestingly, these are the same areas where critics felt last season's coaching staff, led by Christie, fell short, raising speculation that Boston may have been drawing a subtle comparison.
Okay, now we come out, we have to be ready to compete, but we also know that, listen, if things aren't going our way, then we have a coach at the helm who knows how to adjust.
Aaliyah Boston reflected on her past matchups against Stephanie White's Connecticut Sun, noting how White's sharp, in-game adjustments often left the Fever scrambling. Now that White is at the helm in Indiana, Boston's enthusiasm is clear. Her words hint at just how impactful this coaching shift could be for Caitlin Clark and the entire roster. If you're feeling the hype, drop AB and CC in the comments. Let's go!
Well, how was the offseason for you? There's a lot going on with the team, a lot going on with the WNBA, women's sports in general. How was it for you?
Offseason was great. I was able to participate on Rivals, so I was super excited about that, and kind of looking at our team in general, all the changes we've made. It has been a lot. It's been super fast, but I think they've all just been super exciting moves for us, and I'm excited to get the season started because I think we have so much time.
Soon as Aaliyah Boston began discussing the Fever's off-season moves, her excitement was impossible to miss. She didn't just sound pleased, she was genuinely thrilled with the front office's efforts. Calling the new additions super exciting, Boston's energy spoke volumes. It was a level of enthusiasm that stood in stark contrast to the frustration, often visible during last season's tough stretches.
Yeah, you mentioned it right there. It felt like there was 1 week, maybe a month, maybe more ago, that it was just like bang, bang, bang. Someone else new coming to the team via trade, via free agency. All really valuable pieces. Winning experience with those additions as well. What do you make of the newcomers on this team and how everyone will gel together after such a promising year last year for you?
Aaliyah Boston spoke candidly about the impact Indiana's new additions will have on the team. The arrival of experienced veterans marks a major shift for this young Fever squad. Just last season, much of the burden fell on rising talents like Boston herself, Caitlin Clark, Lexi Hull, and Kelsey Mitchell. Now, with seasoned players in the mix, those who understand what it takes to win at the highest level, the team dynamic is evolving. For Boston, who comes from a championship culture at South Carolina, that kind of experience is invaluable.
I think when you look at who we've brought in and who is still here, I think what really helps us and excites us the most is that we win. We win a lot. Coming from winning programs just in general, and being able to put this together, I think it's going to be super exciting. Like every time we get on the court and we're practicing or if we're playing pickup, we're like, I can't wait to get the season started. Like we are going to just play so.
What stood out most was the shift in Aaliyah Boston's tone. Last season, she often spoke about the team's potential, what they could become someday. Now, her focus has turned to expectations. It's a subtle but powerful change. Boston isn't just hoping the Fever will contend anymore. She's confident they will. For a franchise that spent years rebuilding, that marks a major psychological turning point.
Being able to have so many different options on the floor, anyone coming off the bench, just being ready to be that heavy hitter and make an impact.
Yeah, deep team. Right? Yeah. Too, it feels like no lineup there. There's no drop.
Boston specifically emphasized the offensive versatility the revamped roster brings, expressing clear excitement about the multiple options now available on the floor. Last season, the Fever often looked predictable when opposing defenses focused on Clark, Boston, or Mitchell, leaving the team scrambling for consistent scoring elsewhere. That lack of depth was a major hurdle. But with the new additions, those struggles appear to be behind them.
How excited are you for the Fever just this season and as far as your team is concerned, but just to carry that momentum forward as people continue to realize how high level women's basketball is, women's sports are, and just the excitement around this season and the WNBA in general?
Perhaps the most surprising moment in Boston's interview came when she described the Fever as formidable. a word she never used last season, not even during their late playoff push. It marked a dramatic shift in mindset. This team isn't just aiming to compete anymore. They're aiming to dominate. "We want to win every single night," Boston emphasized. The focus has clearly moved beyond development and growth. Now it's all about results. This evolution mirrors Boston's own growth as a leader. No longer content with progress alone, she's holding herself and her teammates to a higher standard.
Yeah, we're going to ride the momentum. We're going to ride the wave. I think there's no way you don't. You know, there's so much eyes, there's so much energy, there's so much attention. It's like every time you step on that floor, you want to play your best because you know there's so many people watching. And it's not just for you. It's for the little kids that continue to dream of being where you are and be like, oh my gosh, they're my favorite players. And the fans that continue to watch, like, you want to continue to show them, like, listen, we come out here, we compete not just for ourselves, but for you guys, because you guys pour so much attention, so much love on this Fever squad, and so we just have to be ready to compete every single day.
Dana Bonner echoed Boston's optimism, pointing out that the Fever now pose a threat at every level of the court. Whether it's Boston dominating in the paint, Clark stretching, defenses from the perimeter, or the newly added scoring depth across the roster, opposing coaches will have a tough time crafting game plans against this revamped Indiana team. While Boston was clearly energized by the roster upgrades, her most telling remarks came when discussing the coaching change. The shift in her tone and body language when speaking about Stephanie White, compared to her former coach, spoke volumes about how much the players value this leadership transition.
Also, part of the newness of this season, and it feels like it's kind of hitting a crescendo, right, as we're only a month away, but head coach Stephanie White, new to town, not really new to town, new maybe for you, but what has that relationship been like in kind of the Stephanie White regime here going?
When Aaliyah Boston speaks about Stephanie White, there's an unmistakable shift in her tone. Genuine excitement that was noticeably absent in last season's conversations about coaching. What makes Boston's insight especially compelling is her first-hand experience facing White's Connecticut Sun. She knows exactly how well-prepared and effective White's teams can be, and now she's eager to play under that same leadership.
It's been great. I think Steph has just done a great job ever since she got the job of just communicating. I remember within the first few weeks that she had the job, we were watching film about how she wanted me to be able to play, what she thinks of the team, what she wants our goal to be once the season starts, where we want to end. And I think for me that's super important because even though it feels like I've been in the league for quite some time, you know, that this is only my third year, and being able to learn from a coach that you've been able to see, especially being able to play against her and seeing the way that she coaches, the way that she makes adjustments, is super exciting for me.